Hi coloring friends, welcome back to my channel. I had a few people comment that they were interested in seeing a little more of this paint set that I hauled a few months ago. This is the Royal Langnickel watercolor travel set. There are 19 pieces in the set, 18 of them are the watercolors, and then one is the water brush here. And I haven't tried it out at all yet, so I thought I'd do a video trying it out, seeing what it's like. I'm living dangerously here because I have this book, Colormorphia by Kerby Rosanes, and I worked on a jellyfish in here, and he is all done, and I want to do the background in a watercolor, so I'm going to try this out on this page. I am a little nervous that these won't be good and I will mess this page up. But the good thing about watercolor paints is you can go over them with pencil and kind of fix areas. So I'm hoping if these end up being a dud that I can do that. I did go ahead and open this and get my water brush filled up. So it is ready to go. And I want to do, so I'll just show the set a little bit. It is, I believe, $11.97 on Walmart. You can get it on Walmart.com, and then also I found it in my store. It was originally $23.99 and is currently on sale, which is nice. And so your watercolor paints fold out like this. And then you do have this little spongy area at the top that you can wipe your brush off in between colors. Because obviously if you're traveling, you're going to need that. And this is the color range that I want to work in with my water background here. It's kind of odd how they lay out the color numbers. So I think this is this one. That's C29. And then I'm not sure if this one is meant to be with this one or this one. So we'll have to see. It'll be a surprise. I think it goes this one, this one. So this would be C29, C36. Then this one would be C31. And then just by the look of it, I'm saying this must be C38, C40, and C43. So boop, boop, boop. Like the sound effects there too. Um, and they almost feel like plastic in here. It's kind of weird. So I'm not sure, how they're going to be, but we are going to give it a shot. And put this down here. And I'm also not sure, because usually when I use watercolors, I kind of prime them a little bit. And there's not a tremendous amount of space in the pan to do that with these. So yeah, like I said, I am kind of nervous about this, but get my brush all juiced up here. Okay, the color is, I don't know if you can see, it's coming right off on the tip, so, and it does look like a nice bold blue color here, so, oh, there's my water. Okay. Yeah, that's coming right up. So let's see, I'm gonna choose, I don't want to go with too tiny of an area to start, but I do want my darkest color to be closest to him. Oh wow, okay, this is a very bold, really pretty blue color. Get in here. All these little nooks and crannies. This is going to take quite a while to do, but wow. All right, I kind of like these. I'm impressed. This color payoff came off very easily from the palette, and yeah, I'm really impressed so far. Try to fill a couple of these little. All right, I'm gonna try to. Let's even that out and make it go lighter here. See if I can blend that out a little bit better. I want it to be darkest and then fade into light here. Got a bit of a line there. All right, that is really nice. I'm wondering what this is doing to the other side of my page. Oh, it does bleed through though. Well, I may just have to sacrifice that page. And then of course I'm going to be sacrificing this page too. Oh no. All right, I wonder if I go a little less intense with the water, if maybe it won't bleed through as much. We will see. If I have to sacrifice it, I have to sacrifice it. And truth be told, I have so many coloring books that there's a good chance I will never get to those other pictures anyway. So this one was tricky to tell what was jellyfish tentacles and what was leaf vines and what was just water background. So it really took a while. It was kind of like doing a word search actually, because that's very dark. That's a bit darker than, see if I can at least darken that up a little bit so it doesn't look so different. Maybe even more bleed through in this spot. But I was saying, it was like doing a word search because I would figure out how I wanted to color a certain element in the picture, and then I would, get as many as I could see, and then I would sit and look for more of that element, and it just, like, it felt like I was doing a word search, trying to find, or a seek and find. And sure enough, I would get all the way through that certain element and then look back and there it would be again. So I'd have to dig that set of pencils out, color combination, and get that last, whatever one I missed. But I don't know. This is my second Kerby page I've worked on, and the first one that's gotten probably this much progress. The other one is struggling along, and these little tiny areas here. And I mean, speaking for the brush, the water is coming out nicely, and it's not gushing out on me or anything, and the brush has a nice fine tip, clearly, because I mean, look, I'm able to get into all these little tiny spaces with no problem. So the brush is a win, I think. And honestly, just going off of this first paint color, I'm maybe jumping the gun here, but I'm gonna say the paints are a win too. That's really, I'm so impressed. I mean, just the tiniest bit of water hit this, and I have this beautiful bold color on the page. Yeah, so I'm gonna say, I mean, for $11, and how cool is it that you can fold it up and take it with you? And if you're going on vacation and you want to take, you know, one set of pencils and then have something to use for backgrounds or accents or whatever it might be, or even to just do a page with watercolor, there you go. This takes up almost no space. And you have 18 colors to work with, so all right. I think all of this was going to be my darkest also. It's kind of got shady lines, and this was part of the area I was saying was really hard to tell whether this was what this was in here. So I did the best I could deciphering it. Okay, I think that's it for my dark areas at the top. This color is so dark that I don't think I even want to take it. I mean, maybe I'll do it just a touch, just to start, just to carry that out, and then work in some those other two blues. I really want to fan it out. Now, I am fairly new to watercolors, so take that into consideration with my my take on these. I'm not going to be, obviously, I'm not familiar with the super high quality watercolors to be able to compare. But I can say with what I want to be able to do with them that this is fitting the bill. So there's that. Let's see. A little bit more water on there. There we go. Okay. All right. Oh, and here I am getting my hand in it already. That is, you'd think I would learn to work from the opposite side of the page just because I'm a lefty, but nope, I usually don't. That left to right is ingrained in me. Okay. I hope I'm in close enough. I didn't really zoom in at all when I started this, and hopefully you can see well what's going on here. Maybe I'll take a quick break and bring you in so you can get a better look at the paint color. All right, let me go ahead and do that. Look how pretty that is in there, that blue. Oh, I love that. That's so pretty. Wait, I'm gonna get, well, I got a lighter tone of it on my brush. I'm gonna take advantage and spread it out here. All right. I think it's just dark enough that it's not gonna wash out my colors on my picture. Let me come in a little closer so you can get a better look here. There we go, and I'm going to do a little bit more of this color out and then start adding in the next color just so you can see another color in the works here. We can see if they're all nice and bold and awesome like this, or if that's just this one. So I need to start in close because my color is so bold to start. Now I can use the sponge, of course, to blot off some of that color, but I'm just procrastinating on doing that because I don't want my nice white sponge to get all dark blue right off the bat. I'm also curious, I guess when you're finished using it, you'd probably want to go and rinse out that spongy spot so it doesn't get too mixed with colors. And so I am curious about the feasibility of doing that, but this little bit here. There we go. All right, and then let's see, carry it out here, and then I'll move on to that outer spot, and we can see what it's like adding in another color here. Go. Darken that area up a touch. I got a little too light, too quick there. Same here. Yeah, I think I really do need to see if I can pick some of that color back up because I've got a couple of spots that are just ridiculously dark. Oh no. Yeah, I can pick some of that up. That helps. Oh no. See, some of this is so hard to tell what that's supposed to be. All right, I'm going to try to pick a little bit more up off of here. I'm making a mess of this area. It might be a come back and fix it with pencil thing. And let's see. Here's where I'd kind of like to start fanning it. Let's see if I can pick a little bit more off of here. It'll help lighten that up a little bit, and then I can use that over here. Yep, that works. This is where I want to kind of transition to a lighter, I think. See if I can pick any more of this up. And a little more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that part with my pencils, hopefully. Like I said, not a watercolor expert. I'm doing the best I can. Definitely a watercolor novice. I'm going to do a quick check and just see what we're doing on the other side here. Okay, it is not bleeding through. Let's see if I can shift it here. Only that one first spot where I went a little too heavy with it is has bled through. The rest of it is not, so that is good. Good, good, good. I can fix that little spot on the other page if I want to tackle it. Okay, and let's see. Add a little bit more water to my brush here and see if I can pick up just a touch more of that. Let's see if I can get a little bit more here up and transfer it to here so it's just not that drastic of a color change. All right, that's better. Okay, so I do want to, I'm still messing with this here. This bothers me so much. It's too dark. Let's take you away. Maybe if I darken this a little bit, that'll make it less drastic too. It's just too big a difference there. I don't like it. All right, let's leave it. We gotta leave it. I have learned my lesson. Okay, so I am going to go into this next lightest color. It's very turquoisey, but I'm hoping between the three they'll work together well. So let's get some water here, and I really don't have much. You can see my paintbrush is almost clear, so I don't have much of this one left on the brush. I'm not very worried about that. Ooh, look how pretty. All right, again, very, very bold and vibrant. So I'm going to use my sponge here, try to get a little bit of that color off so I don't go into it's still very heavy. Well, it's going to take a little blending there. That's okay. We'll work on it. I just work my way out with this. Try to get it a little little more spread out and blended here. I have a feeling I'm making it bleed through there again because my brush was quite wet. All right, that's not bad. That's kind of pretty. I'm gonna check the bleed through again. Okay, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. Still just my original one. Okay. Good news. Good news. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit more water. We'll get this color. Now I wonder if I just take, I want it to be not as bold when I get to the paper with it. So I'm wondering if I just take, see how that goes. All right, that's a little better. Take that out a bit. Well, the paper is not loving that part. I'm hoping that dries a little better. It's a little speckly there. Just take a little bit of that watery bit. It's still very bold. There we go. Make sure I don't have any lines. Okay, I'm just going to do a teeny bit more and then well, the good news is I don't think I'm terribly ruining my page, which I was really worried about. And this is nice for getting into all these details. That is definitely working out for me, so that is good news. It's going to take a while to do, that's for sure. Kind of want to get to a point where I can work in that last blue just to see what it's like. So I'm going to go out a little further with this one. Add more water here because I don't want it to be too... Come on. Give me a drop. There we go. I really don't want it to be too bold, especially as I'm trying to go out further. There we go. Just gonna take this out just a teeny bit further, and then I will see at this. Let me get actually on the screen here too. That would help. Sorry about that. Just take it out a little further, and then I will try out that new blue, because I'm curious what it looks like. I mean, so far I feel like these two colors that they put in the palette work together. So it seems that they've thought that through, that, you know, they're not giving you colors that just won't play together. So that's nice. Oh, I'm in a bubble. Trying to rush, and it's backfiring on me. See if I can get that blended a little nicer there. Well, the paper's definitely buckling, which, you know, that's just to be expected. It's just how it goes. All right. Let's see if I can pull that color. Or a little darker in there than I want it to be. Go, pulling it out. Okay, go ahead and work that blue off a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go for it with this last one and take that to the edge. There we go. This is definitely a much lighter blue. Okay. And we'll take that here. Oh, that's pretty. That's a pretty blue. And it's going to be a tough blend to do there. I think I'm really going to have to work on feathering out my, or pushing this into the one before it, the color before it. That does help. Yeah. Now this one has, it's going down. This one had a bit more of the graininess that I was seeing on the paper. This one has quite a bit more. So there is that, which, you know, I guess it's just one of those things. You get what you pay for. I know there are watercolors out there that are not as grainy, and that is something to look for, but honestly, I'm not terribly bothered by it. Take this all the way to the edge, and I'm kind of rushing a little bit too, just to, so I'm not taking too long with this video. I didn't want it to be too terribly long. I'm just going to pull this all the way to the, ooh, I should have a paper underneath this too. This is not good form. Okay, and then one last bleed through check here, just because I'm curious. Oh yeah, we got bleed through there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so either I went over that area too many times, which very well could be, or I had too much water going there. So we got a little bit of bleed through, but you know, it dries lighter. This bleed through area here has gotten lighter, I think, and this one may dry lighter. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed about that. We will see. Like I said, if the underside page ends up having to be sacrificed, then that is what it is. It's okay. I've made my peace with that. But overall, I know it looks kind of splodgy and weird because it's just a little portion. I think that once I get the full page all done in this, it'll look more cohesive, I think. That's the hope, at least. So, but I will say, and I have to be careful moving this because it does have water drying on some of it. I will say this is a win for me completely. I really like it. Are the watercolor paints the best quality ever? Probably not. But they are very beautiful, vibrant colors. And that just comes right off the palette. There's little effort there to get that color payoff, which I really love. And I think there's a nice assortment of colors to use. You do have this area here, this back plastic area that you can use as a palette if you want to do a little mixing with your colors. And you, like I said, you've got this sponge to use as well. I'm curious how it rinses clean, so that you don't always pick up more of that color when you wet it again. But otherwise, yeah, I really, really like this. And I think for like $11, that is an amazing deal. I mean, alone you get a really nice water brush, and then a lot of great paints to use too. So I'm definitely going to keep going on this background here. Come out so you can see how it's looking as a whole there. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm happy with the way it's turning out and excited to see it all done here. So Thanks for joining me today. I hope that helped show a little bit about what these paints are like. And yeah, if you're asking me, I say go for it. I don't think it's I think it's a win. So thank you again for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I just wanted to pop in and say I did start getting the hang of using this spongy part to kind of dilute my color a little bit and then put it on the paper more diluted than starting with it so bold like I was doing in most of the video. So you can see here, this is before I kind of learned that trick, and then up in here is after I started using this spongy area to dilute the color a bit and sort of water it down before I went to the page. So I just figured I would note that for one, to just highlight that you can use that way. And then also if anybody was watching and yelling at me to do that in the first place, then there you go. I figured it out. Still getting the hang of it, but I really like how it's coming along. And still 2 thumbs up from me for this little set here. So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.